When's the last time that you had fun with your spouse? Hi, I'm Lynn, and welcome to the channel where we focus on creating lifelong love. I have a few questions for you. What have you done lately that has been fun with your spouse? How often do you have fun? What are you doing to build your friendship with your spouse and to feel connected? Leave some comments below. I'd love to hear, because that's what we're going to talk about today. But I have a bigger question for you. What are you doing to build your marriage? I'll give you a few seconds to answer. Time's up. I hope you're answering something along the lines of what we're doing to build our marriage is things that will build intimacy, connection, closeness, a sense of comfort, a sense of teamwork. You want to build that intimacy. Today, I'd like to talk about a recent adventure that I had with my husband. Bob and I recently went on a swim kayak adventure. Some people might think this is extreme, but I've been building up to it. When COVID closed the swimming pools, I took to the open water, and I would consider myself a marathon swimmer, someone who is able to swim at least 6.2 miles at a given time. And in the past year, I've done about 7 or 8 swims of that distance. So today I'd like to talk about what we did, what I learned, and how this relates to marriage. We did an infinity loop, or a figure 8, around 2 islands in downtown Tampa, around Harbor Island and Davis Island. The island on the right, the smaller one, is Harbor Island. That's about 2.8 miles by itself. And Davis Island, the island to the left, is about 6 miles around. I swam and Bob kayaked. It ended up taking us 5.5 hours.
Good morning. It's 5:45, and I wanted to leave a few minutes earlier, but hopefully we'll get in the water by 6:30 for our longest swim, 9 miles.
Good morning, Bob.
Good morning.
We are here at 6:15. That's pretty quick getting ready. It'll take me about 5 minutes, so we are running right on time. We are at the Cafe Dufresne dock on Harbor Island in downtown Tampa. We are ready to start our 9-mile swim, an infinity loop or figure 8 around Harbor Island and Davis Island. We're going to meet up with a few people soon on Davis Island. And I need to get ready. I'm going to blow up this orange buoy and put a couple things in my bathing suit and try a few new things today. What is some of the equipment that we needed? Okay, as you can see, of course, a bathing cap. I had clear goggles because we started in the dark and the water is brackish. It's in the Hillsborough River, a little bit salty but brackish. And I packed a darker goggles for when the sun came out, and I didn't end up needing them, but Bob had them on the kayak. I definitely used Vaseline and applied it to my armpits to prevent chafing. I had mouth rinse. Now, mouth rinse is very important to me when I swim in the Gulf in the salty water, but I decided not to use it, and I didn't need it. So let's talk about feeds. Feeds are your nutrition, the food and water you'd need for something like this for 5.5 hours. Now, this is a work in progress for me. I'm learning as I go, as I get into longer distances. As you can see, there are 4 packets of baby food on the left. I have 3 gels or goos in the center, and then you can see some water along the right side. 3 8-ounce flasks and a 16-ounce flask, that leopard one. These flasks you can tuck in your bathing suit, and that's what I did at the beginning of my swim. The back center, the gray or black colored tumbler there, carries 24 ounces of liquid, and I decided to put 24 ounces of water with 3 small packets of powder electrolytes. and a friend recommended long ago to use Pedialyte. So that's what I used. I didn't end up using all of these feeds. I packed way too much. I ended up using 2 of the baby food, 2 of the gel, and 3 of those 8-ounce flasks. I didn't touch the leopard one in the back. As far as the tumbler, I drank maybe 20 of the 24 ounces total. And this was new to us. Bob and I are moving into an advanced level. I want him to throw what I need out to me in the water. When I get into events, officially, you're not supposed to touch the kayak or touch the kayaker. We put that on a bungee cord type thing, and he threw that out to me. While we're talking about feeds, I'll go ahead and tell you what I ended up doing. When I woke up, I drank 20 ounces of water in about 20 minutes or so. I had a banana, and we left home at 5:45. I wanted to get started with my swim by 6:30, so we were right on time. Started at 6:25. We left Harbor Island and swam for 25 minutes, and I met up with a friend, Bill, who's a faster swimmer than me, so that was great, and he decided to just swim around Davis Island only, the 6-mile bigger island. So at the point that we stopped, I had 4 ounces of water, and then we left again. Now, this is where Bob and I had a little communication breakdown, but it was very minor. I told him I would stop at every mile for food or water, and that was 3/4 of a mile. So then I told Bob, okay, I'll stop at 2 miles. So in his mind, he thought every 2 miles I was going to stop. So anyways, communication in marriage is always a work in progress, isn't it? So at the 2-mile mark, I had 12 ounces of water, which were the completion of the 2 little flasks I stuck in my bathing suit, and I had a gel in my bathing suit. So I didn't really need my kayaker for any feeds. I had it on my person, and then I just gave him what I didn't need. At the 3.25-mile point, I had Bob throw out to me the tumbler, and that worked out great. 4 ounces approximately. I couldn't tell because it was dark, and I couldn't see. Dark meaning the container was dark. I didn't see how much total I was drinking, but I had about 4 ounces of the strawberry electrolyte, and I had a spinach, apple, kale baby food, and that was fine, and I felt energetic. I felt strong. 4.2-mile point, I just decided to drink something. I didn't need any food. That was a real quick couple of seconds break, and I'm looking to save time on my feeds. At the 5.25 mile, I asked Bob, please just give me a flask and a gel. I'll tuck it in my bathing suit, so when I stop, that's all I'll need. At the end, I had left over 4 ounces of strawberry electrolyte water. The next thing I want to talk about are the conditions, expectations, and assumptions. The conditions were very good. The water temp was about 78 degrees. The air temperature was 82 degrees, mostly sunny. There was only a little wind, and that was great. You never know what conditions you're going to run into on the water before you get started, while you're swimming, and you just don't know what to fully expect. You can kind of gauge what you're going to encounter, but things can change out there. So my expectations for this swim was that it was going to be easy. I'm very familiar with the water, and I've swum there probably 20 times in the last 14 months. I thought it would be easy. I had been swimming 11 to 13 miles per week, and that's pool and open water. So I felt strong and ready to take this on, and I expected to do this within 6 hours. My assumptions were that it would be easy. I know the route. Okay, as you can see on the smaller island, at the center top is where I started. I headed to the left and I went down the channel. I chose this direction because the channel usually gives you a little boost. The current is sometimes running slightly in your favor if you head down, south. So that's what I did, and that was great. And the whole distance all the way down Davis Island, I decided to do Davis Island first, get that over with. Because then I felt, okay, Harbor Island is very easy to handle. It's less than 3 miles. I was swimming along, and I was averaging maybe 9 minutes per 500 yards. Very happy with that. And then when I met up with Bill, I kept him in sight for at least 3.5, 4 miles, and I felt that helped me go maybe a little faster, trying to catch him. I expected that the harder part would be when I round Davis Island going up the mile 4, 5 area, the long open stretch, and it kind of was. There was a little bit more wind. The wind forecast was less than 5 miles per hour. It was easy for Bob, and it was, not really challenging for him. What was challenging was the fact that we were going to be out there for about 5.5 to 6 hours, just that long amount of time. If you can see Harbor Island, I call that a piece of pie, and Davis Island a piece of cake. And I thought this swim would be a piece of cake. But what I ran into with my assumptions, I ran into mental challenges. If you can see the bottom point of Harbor Island, you'll see in a picture by the lighthouse. At the lighthouse means to me 40 or 45 minutes and then I'm done. And when I faced a slight current on the home stretch there, but mentally I was like a kid. Are we there yet? When you're almost done or you're almost somewhere. Now I had a good concept of the mileage, where I was, how much time it would take me at different points in this swim. But I made these assumptions. I also assumed that I needed more food and drink, and I did not. So what are some of my lessons learned? My lessons are, don't make assumptions, because sometimes you can sabotage yourself if your mind fixates on those assumptions. I don't know, my mind just was fighting me a little bit, and then I wondered, okay, if my mind is fighting me, am I going slower? And Bob didn't think I was going slower. And as far as swimming in this activity, is that my feeds are a work in progress. I still want to continue to cut down on my feed time, and I think I'm moving into an advanced level, because as a beginner, I loved having grapes, and I would take my time. And now I'm thinking the next long distance swim I do, coming up in a couple of weeks, maybe I will do liquid only, and that will just take a few seconds and I can be on my way. I don't know, I have this idea that as I keep doing these swims, I want to get a little faster and just take less time. I'm going to buy a clear tumbler so that I can see how much exactly did I drink. 8 ounces, 16 ounces, 24. I want to treat this a little more scientifically rather than just leisurely. I know I need to do more Pilates, stretching, flex, and strength. And I've been doing all of that for a couple of months. I had awareness of my lower back, not really strain, not really pain, but the last 45 minutes or maybe hour, I just was a little annoyed. It was nagging at me. But when you usually swim 4 miles twice a week and a mile or two another twice a week, you're unfamiliar. Your body doesn't usually do 5.5 hours of swimming. Physically, I can endure a lot. Mentally, I need to work on that. That seems to be a bigger effort for me. What are the lessons I've learned as far as marriage? Well, I really respect Bob as the kayaker. It's funny how as a swimmer we think that our kayaker is our support person, but really Bob is a key person. Later I said, oh yeah, there were a few boats out there. He goes, a few? From his perspective, he saw many, many boats, making sure that we were safe. A few times he would say, come on, you're veering off into the channel, push in closer to the shore. And I'm like, oh, okay. I didn't really realize this. So kayakers can keep you safe. Another time he's like, wait a minute, there's fishing line. You don't want to go into the fishing line. I'm like, oh, okay. I wouldn't have seen that. He took the paddle and he lifted it up over my head so I could pass under it. So your kayaker could play a leadership role. He also decided when we would cross the channel. There was a couple points that are safer and quieter as far as a no-wake zone. But at one point he said, look, there's no boats coming, so let's cross now. And it only took me 2 to 3 minutes to get across the channel. He provided good guidance and decision-making. So I'm really impressed with Bob that he can sit in the kayak for 5.5 hours. I feel like my job as a swimmer is much easier. And did you know that as a swimmer, you go with the flow, pun intended, you go with the flow of the water. And so I can swim in rough water, water with currents, but in really rough water, a kayaker could capsize. So actually that's what stops us from some swims. You have to take a look at the weather. Another lesson learned was that I just love to have fun with my partner, and it's an opportunity for communication. We are growing together in skills. I'm working on perfecting my swimming. He's working on perfecting his kayaking, and that these activities and adventures are a lot of fun, and it really kicks in the pride element. I'm really proud of us that both of us did it, that we had a shared experience, and we are creating memories. And I just want to say that some people in long-term marriages sometimes don't want more time together. They feel that less is better. But I'm finding that as the years move on, I really like more time together. We have so much fun, and like I said, shared experiences and creating memories. And I'd like to ask you, what are some shared experiences that you're doing? What memories are you creating? Please leave them in the comments below. And I hope you enjoyed this video. Have a great day and make your marriage great.
All right, here she comes, completing the figure eight, or the infinity, or whatever you want to call it. She's going to run right into me because she doesn't want to stand here. Oh, no.
Ugh,
There she is.
done.
Congratulations.
Under 6 hours, I think 5.5 hours. Ooh.
Awesome.
Ugh, that last 40 minutes was tough. Did you notice I slowed down?
But not too bad,
No,
though.
not bad.
Not bad.
Oh, I'm glad it's done. Wow,
right,
that was
good
challenging. Challenging. Thank you. I'm kind of thinking of crashing this party. I don't know. I deserve it.